Welcome everyone. It's Tuesday and it's 7 p.m. and I'm Jacqui Lewis. I'm the clinical nutritionist for BN Multi, and every Tuesday night we meet on our page and share within our group the answers to your bariatric specific questions, and also we have a topic of the week as well. So this week we're talking mental health. So generally the layout of the live is I answer any questions that have been asked in the group during the week. So if you're not a member of the group, you do get a couple of opportunities during the week to leave your questions for me, and we bring them into the live each Tuesday night and we answer them. So, of course, the community also puts their 2 cents worth in within the group. So if you haven't joined the group yet, you can find us at BN Bariatric, and it's basically a support community for weight loss surgery patients like yourselves. And there we share different news, lots of information on nutritional support after weight loss surgery, and of course the importance of taking your BN multis. We also kind of expand on that and give you the understanding of what that's all about and why it is that important. So once and for all, welcome. We hope that you've having a fabulous week. Tuesday night, and a couple of questions, not many this week. And then we've got, actually each week at the moment, we're doing a poll, which has been really popular. And we had more than nearly 200 people respond, 150 people respond. So each week we're kind of getting your understanding of what it is that you'd like to hear more about, and just the things that you're struggling with, or how much you're winning. And it seems this week's poll, more people are winning than struggling, which is fantastic. So keep up the good work. So this week we've got a couple of questions which are pertinent to the mental health question. And just on that, kind of before and after weight loss surgery, there is some people do experience some mental health concerns. Some patients have had experiences with anxiety and depression. Some who come to have weight loss surgery from having accidents and that sort of stuff might have forms of PTSD, ADHD, all sorts of different things that can make this journey just a little bit more complex if your nutrition isn't on point. So tonight I want to just outline the different factors that will support mental health, and also the different places you can kind of reach out to and get support if you need it through the weight loss surgery journey. So the first question was Donna, who says, I've suffered from depression on and off for about 25 years now, and just prior to my surgery I was in an okay state of mind, but not long after I had surgery, my depression decided to resurface, and I'd had a bit of a meltdown and started smoking again, much to the disgust of my medical team. I'm now back on medication and my dose has been increased. I'm just grateful for the support of my team, my medical team, are giving me, because I'd be totally lost without them. The next step is to quit smoking again, but I'm finding it's harder this time for some reason. So there might be varying reasons for that one. And I mean, I think we give not enough weight to the decision that you make when you're going to undertake this kind of surgery. And I think the stigma around town is sometimes that it's the easy way out, when if you're putting yourself in that situation, having to make this decision based on feeling like you're at the end of the road, everything you've tried hasn't worked, you've been struggling with your weight and your health, and now you've got this massive decision to make and this massive change. So with change comes good things, but also comes challenge. So I think we're kind of looking at making life-changing decisions. Some people are spending a lot of their savings, or they're putting their superannuation money into the surgery expenses, which then, they've kind of got that hanging in their head that they've invested this much and this has got to work for me. But also looking at kind of what it leaves you with. And it is extensive surgery, or major surgery, abdominal surgery. And I think we underplay that. A lot of people think they can just kind of do the surgery and then, go back to work and keep on going. And as much as it's the body that needs to recover from that, we need to look at our psyche as well. And if we're not on a completely even keel prior to that, add these massive changes and these big decisions and this large commitment and all the learning and the quick learning curve you need to go through once you make that decision. And you're then turning kind of some lifelong habits on their heads. You're getting input from your family. Friends are talking about it. You don't know whether to tell everyone or not tell everyone. So you've got a whole lot that you're thinking about. So it's no wonder people do feel slightly stressed. So looking at also what food means to some people before the surgery, it can be a coping mechanism, it can be an addiction, it can be that we have different beliefs around food, or even hunger. I notice hunger, the actual sensation of hunger, is quite a concern for many people when it's not something to be afraid of. It's just something that we're not used to if we are an overeater, or we just eat that regularly, that we're not actually listening to our hunger signals correctly anymore. So often when the surgery's done and dusted and maybe we're feeling hungry, we're like, oh my God, I'm hungry. And it's actually, it is a normal sensation. It just depends on when you're feeling hungry. If you're feeling completely hungry all the time, there's different forms of hunger, I suppose. But getting back on track with your question, there can be some transference of, well, I can't eat food anymore, so now I'll start something else. And sometimes it's drinking, and sometimes it is smoking. But it's looking at what that means to you. What is that fulfilling? What are the emotions that you're experiencing when you want to have a cigarette, or what started it? Was it a stressful event? Was it a celebration? Was it, just another outlet of something to do? And yes, I think those kind of things, smoking is probably one of the harder ones to kick, but looking at the underlying reasons is really key to that healing process that needs to take place. And often when we've been filling ourselves with food as a way of, not dealing with emotions or hiding from things, when we don't have that luxury anymore to fill up with food, we're left feeling quite empty, and we're left with ourselves for the first time, perhaps in a long time, to sit and think, well, what am I going to do with myself now? I don't, eat after dinner, or eat and watch movies, or eat and just catch up with friends, or like, it's a whole different way of thinking about what you do with your time. So these sorts of things can creep in. I'm not saying it's a really, really common thing, but it's great that you're being so open and, committed to finding what you can do with it. So of course, have a look at the podcast channel. We have the Australian Weight Loss Surgery podcast. There's plenty of different, what I've tried to do there is to introduce a realm of different support places, different people and practitioners, and different ways of looking at things that emotionally will come up after the surgery. And maybe one of those will be the thing that resonates with you and helps you to explore that and create that change. But I think we just have to be curious, and I think you're doing that, which is fantastic, Donna. Looking at why have I started to do this, and what can I do about it? It's just then, if you take the smoking out, what's your plan? CBT is a very effective therapy for both smoking and overeating. Cognitive behavioral therapy is proven to help with weight loss, and I believe, I haven't read studies on it, but I'm of the understanding that it's very good for helping when you're giving up smoking and drinking. And it's basically filling that spot where drinking was, what do I do when when I'm in a situation where I might smoke? What am I going to do? It gives you tools to manage these situations and make better choices. But it also helps you to explore why you might be making those choices. Am I smoking because, I'm eating really healthily and finally I'm losing weight, but do I deserve to be healthy? So really exploring, what smoking is to you and what it's doing, and, you know, looking at why there may be something underlying there. It's like, I don't deserve to feel this great. And this is my chance to make a fresh start and take this major leap in my lifestyle. And now I've picked up something else that's, you know, carcinogenic and isn't helping my fitness and all those sorts of things. And looking at the why is probably where you will find the answer to, I don't know how I'm going to give it up. So, also, meditation is something to look at. Mindfulness and meditation is a really good one for any kind of addiction, and finding somewhere to go and practice if you haven't practiced before, or using different apps. There's a range of free apps online on the iPhone and Google Play. What is it you Android people use? Looking for those kind of supports that may help with all of that as well. And it is a truly kind of psychological process. And I think there's some richness in there. I mean, if we're going to keep just stuffing down our emotions for the rest of our lives with different things that are destructive, this is an opportunity to go, okay, I'm looking for change. And I took this step in the journey, and now I really want to see what that next, you know, don't leave any stone unturned, don't give up. So keep going, Donna. If we can help you in any way, just reach out and we can support you if you need it. Next question was Ian. I've always been a pretty mellow person, but post weight loss, I'm a fair bit more edgy. Emotions swing a bit and I can react more than I used to. All my emotional urges seem to be magnified. It's not really bad. It just feels that everything is more intense. And that's a really, again, a really open and honest response as well. So thank you, because I think that's what helps everyone, is these opportunities to discuss these things, because I'm sure it's not just you, Ian, that's feeling that way. There's a range of things that can be going on, and it can be if you are dipping into low blood sugars, that'll make you cranky. If you're not eating enough carbohydrate to fuel your brain, you will be cranky. If you're low in certain nutrients, also they're the key to creating mood, healthy mood. And I'll cover that very shortly when I go off on another little tangent. But yeah, it's looking at what's going on from either a psychological perspective or from a physiological perspective. Sometimes when different organs are under stress, if we're not eating either enough food, or where our liver's kind of struggling with dealing with you know, peaks and troughs in our blood glucose levels and that sort of thing. I will say alcohol is one of those things that even when you're under the influence can make you very happy, but can also make you very angry. But the following days are also, it's a mind altering substance. So you will find that your mood is changed, and it's not just for the time that you're drinking. Irritability and anxiety are certainly offshoots of alcohol consumption as well, particularly if you have any nutritional deficiencies, that'll be amplified. So I'll go into that in a sec. But yes, understanding yourself is one of those key things, and recognizing that you are a bit more edgy and a bit more emotional. Is it the first time you've expressed this, and have you been, you know, putting up with things that you may not need to anymore? So sometimes this more confronting or more I guess, assertive kind of behaviors can arise because we're more confident. And if we've been putting up with stuff that we don't necessarily like in our lives, and we've gained more confidence, we're going to start talking out about it as well. So you have to look at whether this edgy, more confronting part of the personality is actually a bad thing also. It's not looking at it as like, oh my God, here I go, I'm reacting and I'm doing this. It's like, did I not react before, and maybe I should have? And those are healthy boundaries that sometimes you need to set. So it's also assessing whether this new way is serving you and helping you to straighten out a few things, and to maybe get people to deal with you in a different way. and to understand and have a bit more of, you know, an understanding of you and your needs. Is that what you're doing? Or is it that there's something else going on and, you know, you're just not as resilient? And sometimes that will happen too when nutritional deficiencies or, you know, even just an imbalance in a few things, you're mentally not as resilient to stress. So that's couple of things to look at. When anything changes and you're like, I used to be really mellow and now I'm this, I would look at, you know, what has changed that would elicit that response. Is it something in your diet? Are you drinking more coffee because now you're not eating as much food? I don't know. I'm just speculating and giving ideas. But it can be that we're into more stimulants because maybe we're feeling tired, and, you know, we're not relying on food and those simple carbohydrates to give you that instant kick of energy. So some people do start drinking more caffeine, and that'll certainly make you more snappy and cranky. So yeah, it's a real range of different contributing factors, which I'll come back to, Ian. So thank you, and please keep sharing, you know, if you need any assistance in that regard. But yeah, it's an interesting time, and I think also perhaps a time of introspection. And if there's a lot going on and you're not getting that time to think about, you know, here's my new life and what do I need to do? And, you know, you're really taking on a lot of new information along the way, that if there is a lot of intensity around general day-to-day, you might find that you just want that space, and that maybe what you're doing is kind of just, you know, creating that headspace with that. I can't do that at the moment, you know, and trying to shut things down. So I hope that was helpful. Sharon is asking, I just wondered if you wouldn't mind explaining more about the extra nutrients and supplements required when taking dexamphetamines after having a sleeve. Good question. Thank you. Oh, yeah, I know. I think my inbox this week. I'm sorry. If anyone else sent me an email, get in the queue. No, I'll get to it. I've just had a lot happening. So this is dexamphetamines are drugs that assist with ADD, ADHD. So focus, attention, calming things down, and yeah, they're actually a stimulant in a lot of ways. So I need to do a bit more reading on the nutritional impacts of those. But generally, when we look at imbalances or like depression, anxiety, any kind of mood disorder, we look at which neurotransmitters are reliant on that particular aspect of our mood. Generally, the ADD, ADHD are to do with dopamine and serotonin. There's quite a few, but the key players are dopamine, which is what we call an inhibitor. It stops us when we are doing things. So when dopamine is low, it means we just have less control over our instincts and our inhibitions and our commentary and our response to life overall. So it impacts attention span, mood, it makes you cranky, and it creates chaos and also can upset your sleep. So those sorts of neurotransmitters are built on proteins. So when you're eating, say, your meat, turkey, chicken, whatever, any kind of protein, each part of that meat is a long chain of different amino acids all in a row. So when you eat those, your body's job is to break those chains of amino acids down into small pieces, and they all have a different name, and they all do different things. So tyrosine, phenylalanine, you know, you'll see them in the list of amino acids in your protein drinks and that sort of thing, because it's broken down for you. As a group, the amino acids have huge function in the body, and that's why we talk about, you know, the fact that we're not made out of carbohydrates, we're made out of protein, because protein, once it's broken down into those small single unit amino acids, their job is to go and do 100,000 different things in the body. So a few of those are detoxification, so taking stuff out of the liver and getting rid of it. Another thing is creating hormones. So that'll alter your mood if you're running short on different neurotransmitters. And also neurotransmitters to help the brain stay in balance and function properly. So when you're in a protein deficient state, you'll find that your mood will be suppressed as well. So the key to depression is a high protein diet, and that's been proven. High protein diet and some exercise is a huge help for people with depression, and has been the key to people turning things around. But you have to get to the point where you've got enough oomph to get up and, you know, get your diet right and get your exercise right. So that's where the medications will support that as well. I don't profess to think that just taking medication for depression is the remedy for it. It's a multifaceted approach, and it needs to be supported with good food and good lifestyle and no alcohol and lots of protein and some good fats. So the fats, also the omega-6 fats, particularly things you'll find in avocados and fish oil and flaxseed oil and that sort of thing, and you know, oily fish will feed your brain as well. So all of those nutrients we look at. Also the ADD, ADHD kind of states are what we call quite highly inflammatory states in the brain. So we look at calming down inflammation in the whole body, which obesity is also a highly inflamed state, which then would be tipping into those mental health issues as well. So often when our body is overwhelmed with, you know, stress and carrying more weight than we should and not eating the foods that we could do and not exercising, this is when this all breaks down, and you'll see that there'll be, you know, one little chain of events will lead to a whole range of different health concerns as well. So I hope that helps, Sharon. And definitely, I mean, this will lead me into the talk about why we take bariatric multivitamins after surgery. And it's because they provide the nutrients that will keep your mental health in check if they are balanced. So you'll see in the BN multi-range, we have 500 micrograms of B12, and anything you find in the supermarket has, you know, between 3 and 35 micrograms. The reason that ours is so high is because your absorption after surgery is 1%. So we give you 500 and maybe you'll get 5, and that would be your requirement for the day. But if you put in 3 or even 35, you're lucky to get much out of that at all. You get 1% of it. So B12, the key nutrients for your mood maintenance, if that's what you want to call it, are the B group, B12 overall. Folate is a massive contributor to mental health. And in fact, folate is called B9, but we always call it folate. Folate, and if you are taking an antidepressant medication, it's been proven that folate will help that to work in a much more effective way. So this is interesting. Often they find that patients who have depression are depleted in folate, and then we put you on an antidepressant which depletes folate, and then you want to go off the antidepressant and you're so low in folate that you feel like a catastrophe. So supporting all of these, you know, the neurotransmitter production, those B groups support the gut, which talks to the brain and helps with the mood. The other nutrient is also iron, a key player in anxious states. So some people have just got this, oh my God, it's new. I just feel anxious and I don't know what it is. I would look to the B group and to iron. Iron deficiency will really masquerade as social anxiety and just an inability to kind of keep it together. And in people who have an already underlying diagnosis of, say, ADD, ADHD, iron deficiency is not your friend. B group and iron and magnesium and omegas are your friends, and keeping them closely monitored is a real key to maintenance of your mental health now that you have this compromised ability to absorb nutrition or certain nutrients. The other key player is magnesium for the nervous system, and it helps with sleep. It helps with sleep maintenance, which means that you go to sleep and you stay asleep. The iron deficiency is an interesting one. It makes you feel exhausted. Then you go to bed, then you go to sleep, then you wake up at all times of the night, because iron deficiency means that you won't maintain sleep very well. So in an already exhausted body that's dragging itself around with iron deficiency, the last thing you need is interrupted sleep, and that's what you get. So working with your team to make sure that your levels aren't just good, making sure they're really good, will help you, because I don't think we should start treating things as deficiency when they're out of the healthy range. If I'm noticing things are slipping a tiny bit, I'll boost it. Don't be happy with the bottom of the range. Look for, I want to be part of the top part of the healthy range, knowing that most people who are having these blood tests for iron, they have a suspected deficiency. So the healthy range is on a sample of a lot of suspected iron deficient patients. So it's also, further down. So those are the key ideas. Protein for your neurotransmitter production, and keeping your liver and your detox pathways working really well, and producing hormones that need to stay in balance. B group are massive for producing sex hormones, estrogen, progesterone, and they contribute to all those kind of processes as well, and in the men. The other thing is, you'll notice that mental health may fluctuate, certainly when you're in that rapid weight loss state. And that can be because when you're carrying excess body fat, it's laden with estrogen. So estrogen and emotions just go together. So there'll be, there's a range of different metabolic and endocrine things going on, and we're meant to just keep going to work or keep looking after the kids, or and not only are you dealing with the surgery and the recovery and this new whole way of doing everything, and how much protein did I have today, and did I have enough carbs, and did I drink enough water? You've got all this other backstory going on of the body just dumping in different hormones out of the body fat. You've also got it's a metabolic surgery, so that's the key, is that's changing the way you're metabolizing things, and it's wreaking havoc with the blood sugar levels and that sort of stuff, as you start to calm the body down and reduce all the inflammation. I can go on a tangent, can't I? So that is my answer to mental health and nutrition. The other one we look at, which is another whole story, is the links between the gut and the brain. So when the gut is happy, generally you're more vital, you have more energy, you're happier. The gut, 70% of your serotonin is made in the gut. So if the gut's happy, the brain's happy. And serotonin is also the first on the scene when there's inflammation present. So it's getting, if there is inflammation, it's trying to quell that. So it's busy doing other things, and maybe there's not enough to keep the brain balanced. So it's looking at that and supporting those, times of stress and that sort of stuff as well. I'm just going to check on the actual video to see if there's any questions. If you've got any questions about what I'm talking about, please let me know in the comments. I just have to find it and I can see them. Then I'll talk about winners for this week. Here's comments. Wow. All of those are in the BN multi. So get some today. How much magnesium is required? It depends on the person, and it's a key player in iron storage as well. So if magnesium's low in the, in the body, and it depends, I just burn up magnesium, even though I'm supplementing with, 400 or 500 milligrams a day, my bloods just came back and it was on the lower side. So it depends on how much of this you do and how much activity you do as well. I mean, every muscle contraction uses those minerals. So it's really being guided by a fresh set of blood tests and looking at that, and then getting someone to dose it for you. So yeah, would L-theanine be of help? L-theanine is beautiful, and it's only available in Queensland. Did you know that? And it's very, very good for anxiety and very good for sleep. It's a key component of green tea, which is why green tea has caffeine in it, but also makes you feel quite chilled. I think if there's anything you're looking at doing, it'd be implementing green tea as part of your daily ritual, because it's just got so much going for it. They've actually proven that green tea increases your alpha brain waves, which is linked to like a meditative state. So it calms you down. And yes, L-theanine can be used for general anxiety, or if you know that you're heading down the path of a stressful day, you can take it situationally, and it takes only 20 minutes before you notice a difference. Always get someone to help you with the dosage, but definitely helps with just calming down things, and over time can help to, help the body to understand stress in a different way when you create new habits around it. So good on you. And I hope you're in Queensland so you can get some. How much magnesium is required? I'm just trying to see all the comments. It's not showing me all comments. Ian says you're thinking about vitamin B and iron, describes me to a T. That's great. So I would suggest, Ian, if you haven't had anything looked at recently, it'd be a good time to just get that reassessed. In your bloods, you'll find your protein levels as well. So you've got a real indicator of, if you're taking in 100 grams of protein in a day and your bloods are showing that you've got low protein, it also speaks to me of gut health, that you're not absorbing those, you're not breaking down the protein and actually utilizing it. So that's a key, is when you're looking at I'll talk to you later, Sharon. And when your protein is low in your blood but your diet is sufficient, it speaks to us of gut health or stress. So stress is first thing is to shut down digestion and reproduction. And that comes back to hunter-gatherer times, where saber-toothed tiger crossed our paths, and the last thing we needed to be doing was processing food and making babies. So the body just shut that off. So if saber-toothed tiger is showing up every day in your life, guess what's going to happen? Your digestion will be doesn't shut down, but it's ineffective, and it means that everything you're doing, even if you're putting all the most beautiful things in, if you're in a totally stressed out state, the body's not listening. Essentially, it just can't hear what's being sent in there. So it's looking at, if all your ducks are in a row from a nutritional standpoint, but you hate your job, everything's uncertain, and there's other stresses in there, we look at that and how can we ameliorate those kind of stresses in some way, so that health will, a good health picture will arise out of that as well. I can see a few comments. I know there's 18 there, but my system won't show me. It's very annoying. And often what I do is, after we've done the live, I go back and follow up on all the other questions that I can't see when I'm in here. So I will definitely do that if I've missed you. What I'm going to do now is talk about the, hang on, let me share my screen. No, oh, there it is. Too many screens. We want to share this screen, and I think you can see that here's our new Oh, they're coming next week. BN Staying on Track kit, book and a calendar and a healthy eating planner. So you'll nail it as far as getting organised goes. Can you all see that? I've got the funny, there we go. Now you can see it. Here's our new pack, which contains a book that we've put together, 5 things to stop doing, to start doing, and to think to prevent weight regain after weight loss surgery. This guy in the front is a desktop calendar. It has every month, it's got all our challenges on it. This month's challenge is removing alcohol, and I'll check in with you all around that and see how that's working out. I've had a group in here last week who were like, I don't even drink. This will be easy. So I hope they're back next month for the next challenge, which will be, hopefully something different for them. So this calendar has every month a challenge, and within every month, it also has some really good tips to keep things front of mind for you. So if that's sitting in front of you somewhere at some point each day, it can only do good in reminding you of, tiny little things that all add up to making, these changes that take effect and change your life. Behind that is our healthy eating planner, which is a magnet, and it's got a week's worth of meals that you put your, what are you having for breakfast, lunch and dinner each day. And then you plan that out using one of our amazing free recipe books that you download from the website. And then you put it on the shopping list, which is a tear off. And at the top of the shopping list are all suggestions for protein rich snacks, because I think we all forget how to snack on protein. So that's a really good one. And you just tick the boxes of the things you need for your snacks, and then all the ingredients for your meals, you just stick on the notepad there and rip it off and go to the supermarket. We make it very easy for you. And that's why you're so successful, because we're making it so easy for you. So these new kits will be available. There's pre-order at the moment on the website at bnmulti.com. And some people are lucky enough to be winning them. So this week, Melanie has lost 67 kilos. 70 kilos loss is so close, I can smell it. She works out every day, was juggling my 4 kids between school and kinder, meal plan, focus on water intake. My whole entire life and lifestyle has changed for my whole family. And that is incredible. The result is incredible, but it's doable. 4 children, school and kinder, and still exercising every day. There's no excuse, people. I think that's amazing. And what I really would love to talk about is the impact this kind of thing has on your children, and the generational impacts of poor eating habits and lack of education around food, and all those sorts of environmental factors on why we eat the way we do. And when someone just draws the line and goes, nah, I'm not doing that anymore, I'm doing it this way, the next generation, that's their normal. So they will get to the point where this is their normal. They eat well, they exercise every day, they watch you as a role model. And I know you do the surgery for you, but also have a think about what this is doing for your children and how much benefit there is for everyone as a unit. And I think that's pretty amazing. So Melanie, guess what you won? You won a BN Staying on Track kit. You're on track, but how about being even more on track? There'll be some good ideas in there for you. Well done. I think that's amazing. We should have that canned applause where we play the clapping in the background. I think that would be just well above my technical capabilities if I had to do any sound effects as well as, run the Zoom. Our next winner is Michelle Van Ruyen. Has lost 43 kg and is only 4.4, don't forget the 0.4, kilos off goal weight. Used to be a size 22 to 24, and now I'm 8 to 10. Was chronic pain, and losing weight was always horrendous, but I've done it. Pain is still up and down, but I'll get my weight loss goal 2021. Kawasaki Ninja next Saturday. I promised myself once I lost 30 kilos, I'd get a motorbike. Well, I've blown the goal and she's here, and will be born, taken out of her crate, next Saturday, and then I'm licensed to ride. Well done. Look at that. And I imagine, you know, back in 2019, would you have considered getting out on a motorbike on the weekends? So good on you, and looking fantastic. And I see you also lost a cast in the process. So set yourself a positive reward on top of your health and aim for that, and you'll get that goal. So I think that's something also, is celebrating our little wins, like not celebrating with it, you know, anything too naughty, but also looking at how we celebrate when we're going, wow, I just made goal. I've made my goal weight, or I'm halfway to goal. What are you going to do for yourself? And it's not, maybe it's something that you'd like to wear that you never would have bought before, or spend a little bit extra on that. But you really do need to punctuate the wins. And I think that keeps you moving as well, is these little, you chug along for a bit, and sometimes it's a bit mundane, but then you get somewhere, and you really need to mark it and, celebrate it, even if it's just with a happy dance in front of the mirror, or a selfie that you share with our group. So what we would love it, winners, what we're going to do also is, if you wish to share a detailed recount of your story, we're compiling a bunch of BN inspired stories, so that other people who are experiencing or exploring maybe having the surgery and sitting on the fence can see what's possible. And I think there is that underlying concern that if I have this surgery, will it work for me? And what does it mean for me? And then, maybe I won't do it. So these kind of stories, that if we can keep, gathering a group of these inspiring success stories, can only be life-changing for someone else who's sitting on the fence. So we'll send you a link to our BN Inspired story board, and you can fill it out. And if you'd like us to share it on our site, just there's a box you can tick and let us know. But we would really love it if you were willing to participate in that and inspire everyone else. BN Inspired. So thank you. I think we're toward the end. We're at the end, and we are at the end, 7:46, and people are still watching, which is fantastic. So, alcohol challenge. I want to see you posting in the group what you're experiencing, if you are participating in the alcohol-free, or reducing alcohol, or eliminating it. Depends on where you're at. Talk about it and share your experience. And again, these kind of conversations, and even the ones we had tonight about mental health and how we're feeling emotionally. Oh, I've got to do the poll too. I'm still sharing the page. Sharing, because this is not unusual, and you'll find that other people have been through it, and they go, yeah, done that, and I did this, and this is what helps. So always share, and everyone will benefit in the end. Last thing, sorry, poll results. Share your thoughts or feelings on your weight loss journey so far. I was impressed with this. 51 votes. A lot of stalls. We should talk about stalls more often. I'm overall doing well, but stuck on a stall and looking for more movement. We'll talk about that and what to do. 48 votes. So 51 votes is the main one, and there's a few people stalling. My life has profoundly changed and significantly changed for the better, and I'm loving it. 48 people said that, which I think, like, second highest. That's pretty amazing. 40 votes for I feel motivated and in control of my habits for the first time in a long time. So that's pretty impressive too. 12 votes, I'm feeling more optimistic in my approach to work and home life. 10 for lost the weight and I was happy. Then 2020 hit hard and I regained some weight. I reckon we could get 100,000 votes outside of this group, or maybe even a few million, because what a year. I think so many people, even outside of this community, they are looking at, mopping up the repercussions of, particularly Melbourne, mopping up the repercussions of being, out of routine, locked up, all that sort of stuff. So if you've lost any weight this year, I think you're ahead of the game. 8 votes, I'm regretting the path. I'm lost and I haven't lost the weight. I would love to support these 8 voters in any way possible. And if there's anyone anyone who's feeling lost, always reach out, support@bnmulti.com. And we have contact with all the bariatric dietitians, so we can certainly direct you to someone who can help you in that way. Generally, you know, we can see that you are supported in the best way possible. 7 votes, I'm feeling a bit down, can't put my finger on the cause. Sometimes that's those nutrients I've been talking about, protein and the Bs and the magnesium and all that sort of stuff. Every nutrient has a function, but these are the ones I'm just highlighting as the key players in this mental health as well. 3 votes for major disruption in my life has left me feeling down and comfort eating. I'm still trying not to gain too much weight, but struggling. That'll do it. Major disruption, and generally mopping that up with, I mean, stress and routine. And when you're using willpower to manage your weight, when anything big happens, it's going to fall apart. So that's why we talk about getting to that underlying behavior and those triggers, and working through them from a psychological standpoint, so that when stress is there, you're actually more looking at, how can I not add fuel to this stress fire? How can I make myself feel better, rather than, you know, destructive coping mechanisms. So what do I do when I'm stressed? I'll have a drink, or I might eat more chocolate, or my exercise programs go out the window. When you've set up this foundation of strength in your lifestyle, stress can come and go, and these habits will roughly remain in place, and you'll always be, you know, doing amazingly or doing 80%. But if you've got that platform to work from, you're more resilient because you're not adding fuel to a stress fire. 2 votes, I'm just starting my weight loss surgery journey and yet to have the procedure done, but I'm feeling optimistic and encouraged by the group. So please keep inspiring everybody, because there's a whole lot of people who come in every week in a new phase looking for what's this all about. They want other stories. They don't necessarily, they love to hear what the surgeons have got to say, but they want to hear what it's going to mean to them. And the way they do that is collecting story from people who've been there, like you. So I'm going to love you and leave you. And I hope you have a fabulous week. And I'll see you next Tuesday. Bye. Talking about carbs next week. Have a good night. Hanging over 2 screens. Stop share and end. See you later.